moment. This vote has been front page news in New York for a solid week now, with what sometimes seems like hourly updates about how it's about to happen. It's on the brink. We're on the precipice of this happening. But you know, in the year 2004, this already did happen in New York. In one small town an hour and a half north of New York City, the town's mayor, using his legal power to officiate weddings, decided to officiate a whole bunch of same-sex weddings. And that decision was not without consequence.
A New York State mayor, has been charged with 19 criminal counts for performing marriage ceremonies for same-sex couples. New Paltz Mayor Jason West married 25 gay couples last Friday.
In San Francisco, a spark became a wildfire.
I now pronounce you spouses for life.
More than 3,700 same-sex marriages before today's court order. 1,700 more in Oregon. Still others in New York, New Jersey, and New Mexico.
On Close Up this morning, the debate over same-sex marriage. The mayor of New Paltz, New York, has been charged with 19 criminal counts for marrying gay couples, but he's vowing to go ahead with even more.
The actions of the mayor of New Paltz, New York in 2004 made a lot of people very, very happy, as you can see from these pictures. But of course, he also made some other people upset. Jason West lost his first bid for re-election as mayor after the same-sex weddings in New Paltz, even though those misdemeanor charges brought against him for doing the weddings were later dropped. In the end, anybody who was mad at New Paltz Mayor Jason West over the same-sex marriage issue appears to have gotten over it. Jason West was just last month re-elected to his old job as the mayor of New Paltz, New York. And he joins us now in studio for the interview. Jason West, the mayor of New Paltz. Mayor West, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Rachel.
The vote, or the lack thereof, in the state Senate tonight, what do you think is going to happen?
You got a coin? I'll take heads, you take tails, see which one of us wins anything. It's so close. I mean,
yeah.
You know, the story has been we need one vote, we need one vote. But I had one political organizer kind of pull me aside and said, you know, that's not quite true. What we probably need is three. There's probably got to be enough coverage so that no one Republican is going to be the guy. You know, it's your fault. We have marriage equality. So if there's enough of a buffer, and I'm hoping that that's what the delay is. I'm hoping they're trying. They've got the votes to pass, so they're just trying to get enough of a buffer so that no one Republican senator gets targeted as it's your fault.
Do you have any advice for state senators trying to figure out what to do here? I mean, I think you're right in sort of focusing on the issue of bravery and political cover and how much people really want to stick their necks out on an issue like this, particularly, I mean, within the Republican Party. Do you have any advice for Republicans or politicians thinking about this now? Yeah.
Don't look at your career next year. Look at your career 10 years from now. Do you want to be George Wallace standing in the schoolhouse door, or do you want to be re-elected with your name being a synonym for political courage?
Yeah.
That's the choice. And this isn't just kind of pie-in-the-sky idealistic wishful thinking. I mean, look at the demographics. The younger you are, the more in favor of marriage equality you are. If these Republican senators want to stay in office when the people who are 10 now are 20 and voting, they should probably be on the right side of history if the argument, you know, that it's just the right thing to do isn't persuasive enough.
If gay marriage does not pass in this legislative session, and with this big push from Governor Cuomo and his very, very high approval ratings, it seems like this might be the best chance for marriage equality in New York, at least for a while. If it doesn't pass, though, would you ever consider doing again what you did before, the kind of civil disobedience you did?
I honestly don't think it would be necessary. I mean, look, the weddings we did in New Paltz in 2004, the weddings that Gavin Newsom did, the licenses issued by the clerk in Sandoval County, New Mexico in 2004, these aren't the beginning of anything. They're the end point of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people simply just coming out, of having that conversation and shifting people's perception. It's a middle or end point of just the change in TV role models. You know, it's not just Robin Williams in a birdcage anymore. And the weddings in 2004 were a result of that, not a cause of it. And that pressure doesn't stop just because I was stopped. And that pressure is building. And if we lose by one vote, I've been saying I think there's going to be a Republican senator walking out of that chamber filled with regret, knowing they're on the wrong side of history, and going to vote yes next year.
What happened to the marriages of the people who you married? I had assumed that they had been nullified. They had been overtly nullified. Did that ever really happen? Was there any clear resolution?
Jerry Falwell's law firm, Liberty Counsel, tried to have them annulled. Actually sued all 300 couples because when I was done, got a restraining order placed on me. 2 Unitarian ministers stepped up and continued to the weddings, and then United Church of Christ came in, and we had weddings every weekend for 3 months in New Paltz. It was fantastic. But there was an attempt to have them all annulled. The judge basically said, no, you can't just mass annul weddings. You got to sue the couples individually, and that was the end of it. Around the same time, there was just a better lawsuit by gay and lesbian couples suing their own towns for civil rights violations for not being given a license, and it was just much better than whether the mayor's ceremonies were legal. So we just kind of got pushed to the side, and it's a no man's land. It's never been ruled on one way or the other. Practically speaking, some of the couples were able to use the licenses we gave them to get health benefits from their corporate employers who just wanted some kind of paperwork. But that's really about it legally.
The president tonight speaking to a gay audience in New York City, one of these 3 fundraisers that he was doing tonight. And of course, he has said in the past that he is against same-sex marriage, but he has said also that his views on the subject are evolving. People protesting tonight with signs saying "evolve already." But then the president saying tonight, I believe gay couples deserve the same legal rights as every other couple in this country. Do you have reaction to that statement from the president, but any other thoughts on his leadership on this issue, just as somebody who made your own decision in your small town in which you were the executive to do something quite confrontational on this?
Well, first is I agree with the statement. Yeah. Same-sex couples do deserve all the rights and privileges of everyone else. And I just wish that Obama would walk his talk. He has the authority. He has the bully pulpit. He could shift this enough that we don't have to bite our nails for 5 days waiting on a single vote. He's choosing not to. And maybe it's just a matter of political pressure building around him is what's evolving him. And maybe we just need more of that. And I wouldn't be surprised. It tends to be what changes politicians' minds. Fear of losing their seat.
In terms of change and pressure, after what you did in 2004, I know that you weren't reelected mayor. You've since been reelected mayor this year. Anybody who was mad at you or who really opposed what you were doing at the time, if you talk to any of the people who were really on the other side of it, who are still angry about it, still have the same position, or anybody who's changed their mind, have you seen any personal evolution on it? Yes,
but it happened much more rapidly than that, actually. Well, think back in 2004, that's 7 years ago. I think the national poll numbers were roughly 60% opposed, 40% in favor nationwide on marriage equality. Now those numbers have flipped. At least in New York, it's 60-40 the other way. And when I talk about the tide of history, it's a little bit hyperbolic, but it's real and it's there. Things are shifting and shifting fast. What changed people's minds more than anything else was, I think, seeing the weddings themselves. I mean, you saw some of the footage here. There were 25 couples, and the applause for the last couple was just as loud as the applause for the first. I mean, it was tears. There were people florist shops were delivering flowers to the parking lot in front of Village Hall, and just having it not be abstract, having it be real. And that's why I talked about how coming out is so important. It makes it real to people. These are real people with real issues in real lives, not just them, not just the gays or whatever you want to categorize people as. Yeah. And when people see their neighbors, have the conversation, see each other in the grocery store, it becomes less threatening for people who come from bigoted backgrounds or homophobic backgrounds. It normalizes it, and I think that's really what's going to win this issue. Jason West, Mayor of New Paltz, New York. Again, it is great to have you here. Thank you very much for coming in. Thank you very much, Rachel. How's things in New Paltz, by the way? Oh, fantastic. The Chamber of Commerce would probably want me to make a pitch to come up and visit us in tourist season. But, all right, well, allow me to make it. New Paltz is lovely this time of year. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. And the mayor, when he's not being mayor, is painting houses, which is about the coolest small town anecdote you could possibly tell about yourself. So I just did it. Thank you very much. All right.